Hello everyone, and welcome to our health channel. If this is your first time watching our program, please remember to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss the health information we carefully prepare for you each week. Today I want to share with you an extremely shocking food safety incident that reminds us that food storage safety should never be taken lightly, especially for us seniors, as this is truly a matter of life and death. This past May 20th, what should have been a sweet and romantic Valentine's Day turned into a chilling food poisoning nightmare in Mengcheng County, Guizhou City, Anhui Province, China. An influencer street vendor called Floral Tiramisu sold over 100 tiramisu desserts on this special day. What was meant to be a sweet treat for customers became a health disaster. Here's how the tragedy unfolded. On May 20th, this influencer stall was doing booming business, with many couples and friends purchasing tiramisu to celebrate Valentine's Day. Everyone happily bought their desserts and took them home to enjoy, never imagining that this seemingly delicious treat would become a health menace. By the early hours of May 21st, things started going terribly wrong. Customers began experiencing severe physical distress one after another. These weren't just simple stomach aches. These were serious food poisoning reactions. Within 12 hours of eating the tiramisu, patients began suffering from severe abdominal pain, projectile diarrhea, and fevers exceeding 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Even more frightening, some cases developed bloody stools, severe dehydration, and even kidney damage requiring hospitalization. By May 23rd, this incident exploded across the internet. Countless users from Anhui province posted on social media stating that Ruhua's tiramisu had caused food poisoning in over 100 local residents, leaving Mengcheng County First People's Hospital's gastroenterology department completely overwhelmed. Just imagine, a normally quiet hospital suddenly flooded with patients, medical staff rushing around frantically, and all these patients poisoned by desserts from the same vendor. The scene must have been absolutely shocking. Internet users who saw this news commented saying, "This is like a real-life Breaking Bad." While the tone was joking, the food safety issues reflected behind it are absolutely no laughing matter. Initial investigations revealed several potential problems. First was the storage temperature issue. According to insiders, cream is extremely prone to spoilage and requires professional refrigeration equipment for proper storage. However, this vendor operated outdoors. Even though they had coolers in such hot weather, outdoor refrigeration equipment's performance is worlds apart from indoor professional refrigeration systems. Think about it, American summers can be brutally hot too. If you're running an outdoor stand selling foods that require refrigeration, imagine how enormous that risk would be. The second problem was even more alarming. Observant internet users discovered that the decorations on this vendor's tiramisu were actually oleander flowers. If this is true, the problem becomes even more serious, because oleander stems, leaves, and petals all contain toxic substances. While used as decoration and not directly consumed, if they came into contact with the food, the consequences would be unimaginable. The third issue was the use of raw eggs. Tiramisu preparation typically requires raw eggs. Currently, the safer market practice is to use pasteurized eggs, but even pasteurized eggs cannot guarantee absolute safety, let alone if regular eggs were used. While this incident occurred in China, there are many cautionary lessons for us Americans, especially seniors. America has a thriving food truck culture and farmers market scene, with various food stalls and dessert vendors everywhere. Many seniors enjoy visiting farmers markets or food festivals, buying treats to take home and share with family, or purchasing special desserts to celebrate holidays. But have we ever carefully considered whether these food storage conditions are safe? America's climate varies greatly, but during summer months, temperatures often exceed 90 degrees Fahrenheit, with high humidity in many regions. In such environments, food spoils easily, and bacterial multiplication accelerates dramatically. If vendors don't have adequate storage equipment or handle ingredients improperly, similar food safety problems could occur. Moreover, our immune systems as seniors are naturally weaker. Once food poisoning occurs, symptoms are often more severe than in younger people, and recovery takes much longer. Therefore, understanding food storage knowledge becomes even more critical for us. Let's first understand why food spoils. Food spoilage primarily results from the action of bacteria, mold, and yeast. These microorganisms multiply rapidly under appropriate temperature, humidity, and oxygen conditions, breaking down nutrients in food and producing harmful toxins. Temperature is the most critical factor. Experts call the temperature range between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit the danger zone, because bacteria multiply fastest within this range. This is why we often say that perishable food should be kept refrigerated to maintain temperatures below 40 degrees Fahrenheit and slow bacterial growth. However, many people hold the misconception that putting food in the refrigerator makes it safe. This isn't true. Refrigeration can only slow bacterial growth. It cannot completely stop it. Furthermore, if refrigerator temperature settings are incorrect or foods aren't properly packaged, spoilage risks remain. Humidity is also crucial. America's climate in many regions is quite humid, especially in the south and coastal areas. If food isn't properly sealed, it easily absorbs moisture from the air, providing an ideal environment for bacterial and mold growth. This is why we often see crackers, nuts, and other foods become soft and stale, or even moldy when left out too long. Oxygen's role cannot be ignored either. Many foods undergo oxidation reactions after contacting air, not only reducing nutritional value and affecting taste, but more importantly, oxidized foods become more susceptible to bacterial growth. This is why vacuum packaging can extend food shelf life. Please remember to like our video and share it with friends who need this information. Your support motivates us to continue producing quality health content. Now let's examine some common food storage misconceptions in America. The first and most common misconception is the refrigerator solves everything mentality. Many seniors have the habit of cramming all foods into the refrigerator, thinking this makes everything safe. However, different foods require different storage conditions, and refrigerator temperature settings, food packaging methods, and storage locations all affect preservation effectiveness. For example, many people don't know what temperature to set their refrigerator. The refrigerator compartment should be kept below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, and the freezer should be at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below. However, many household refrigerators aren't set low enough, or frequent door opening causes temperature fluctuations that prevent achieving ideal storage results. The second misconception is ignoring expiration dates. Many seniors have frugal habits and continue eating food that's slightly past its expiration date, thinking if it looks fine, it's okay. However, food expiration dates have scientific basis. Expired food may have already developed harmful bacteria, even if there are no obvious external changes. This is particularly risky with dairy products and egg-based foods. The third misconception is storing raw and cooked foods together. Many household refrigerators have raw meat stored alongside cooked foods, and vegetables mixed with leftovers without proper separation. This is very dangerous because raw foods may carry bacteria that can cause cross-contamination when they contact cooked foods. The fourth misconception is repeatedly thawing and refreezing foods. Some people take meat from the freezer, thaw it, then discover they can't use it all and put it back in the freezer. This repeated thawing and freezing damages food's cellular structure, making it more susceptible to bacterial growth while significantly reducing nutritional value. America's food truck and festival culture, while rich and diverse, does present certain risks from a food safety perspective. Outdoor vendors face the biggest challenge of temperature control. American summer outdoor temperatures frequently exceed 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and in such high-temperature environments, even with coolers, it's difficult to guarantee that food constantly maintains safe temperatures. Moreover, many small vendors use refrigeration equipment with insufficient capacity, or to save on electricity costs, don't maintain coolers at optimal refrigeration states. Add to this the constant flow of customers opening and closing cooler doors, making temperature control even more challenging. Food sourcing and freshness present another issue. Large restaurants or chain establishments typically have complete supply chain management, ensuring food material freshness and quality. Small vendors may lack such resources, making it harder to control ingredient sources and handling processes. Hygiene standards also pose challenges. Legitimate restaurants have strict sanitation protocols, and employees receive professional training. Vendor sanitation conditions are often more basic, and food handling processes may be less standardized. However, this doesn't mean we can't enjoy America's delicious street food. The key is knowing how to choose and evaluate. Select vendors with good business and high turnover rates, as these vendors have fresher ingredients that aren't stored too long. Avoid foods requiring long-term storage or complex preparation, especially desserts containing cream or raw eggs. Pay attention to vendor hygiene conditions, including workers' personal hygiene, ingredient storage methods, and utensil cleanliness. Now let's understand in detail how to identify and prevent high-risk foods. First are dairy products. Milk, cream, cheese, yogurt, and other dairy products are among the most easily spoiled foods. These products contain rich proteins and nutrients, providing excellent growth environments for bacteria. In America's humid, hot climate, dairy products spoil very quickly at room temperature. Generally, milk left at room temperature for over 2 hours risks spoilage, and cream products are even more vulnerable. Therefore, when purchasing such foods, ensure vendors have proper refrigeration equipment and consume products as quickly as possible. Methods for determining dairy product freshness include: checking appearance. Fresh dairy products should have normal color without separation or curdling. Smelling. Fresh dairy products should have a light milk aroma, while sour or off odors indicate spoilage. Feeling. Texture. Fresh cream should be smooth and fine, while roughness or grittiness may indicate problems. Eggs and egg products are also high-risk foods. Eggs themselves may carry salmonella bacteria, and improper handling creates food poisoning risks. Raw or undercooked eggs pose even higher risks. In America, many traditional desserts use raw eggs, including tiramisu, mousse cakes, and mayonnaise. If these foods are improperly stored, risks become very high. Pasteurized eggs are available in the market, and while more expensive, offer relatively better safety. However, even pasteurized eggs cannot guarantee absolute safety, and still require attention to storage conditions. Safe egg usage principles include: when purchasing, check that eggshells are intact without cracks. When storing, keep in the refrigerator's main compartment, not in the door where temperature fluctuates more. Wash eggshell surfaces carefully before use. Consume foods containing raw eggs quickly without long storage. Fresh seafood and meat represent another category of high-risk foods. Seafood spoils particularly easily, potentially becoming unsafe within hours at high temperatures. Moreover, spoiled seafood produces harmful substances like histamine, causing food poisoning. America's extensive coastlines provide abundant seafood, but this makes attention to seafood freshness even more important. When buying seafood, choose fish with bright eyes, intact scales, and no off odors. For shellfish like shrimp and crab, select those with glossy shells, no dark spots, and intact appendages. For mollusks, choose those with tightly closed shells and good weight. Meat also requires special attention. Fresh meat should have bright red color, beef, or pink color pork, slightly glossy surfaces, spring back when pressed, and no off odors. If meat color is dark, surfaces are slimy, or there are strange smells, don't purchase. Cold chain transportation is crucial for these foods. Every step from production to sale must maintain low temperatures. Once the chain breaks, foods risk spoilage. Therefore, when purchasing such foods, choose vendors with good refrigeration equipment. Cake and dessert storage is also very particular. Cream-containing cakes spoil especially easily because cream rapidly turns rancid at high temperatures, not only affecting taste but potentially producing harmful substances. Food water activity is another important concept. Foods with high water activity, such as high-moisture cakes and jellies, are more susceptible to bacterial growth. While sugar has some preservative effect, if sugar concentration isn't high enough, it can actually become a bacterial nutrient source. Decorative materials safety cannot be ignored either. Some cakes or desserts use fresh flowers for decoration, but not all flowers are edible. Like the oleander flowers mentioned earlier, they contain toxic substances. In America, we must also avoid using poisonous plants for decoration. Now let's learn proper food storage methods. First is correct refrigerator usage. Many people think refrigerators are just big boxes where you can put anything anywhere. But this isn't true. Different refrigerator areas have different functions and should store different foods separately. Refrigerator temperature should be set below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. The top shelf, being coldest, suits dairy products and leftovers. Middle shelves with moderate temperatures work for eggs and condiments. The bottom typically houses crisper drawers with appropriate temperature and humidity for vegetables and fruits. Door areas experience the most temperature fluctuation and suit stable condiments, not milk or eggs. Freezers should maintain 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Frozen foods should be categorized, labeled with dates, and used first in first out. Don't overpacking freezers. Maintain air circulation. Regular refrigerator cleaning is important. Clean at least monthly, removing food debris and dirt to prevent bacterial growth. Use diluted bleach or alcohol for cleaning, then wipe clean with fresh water. Packaging and sealing techniques are also important. Different foods need different packaging methods. Sealed bags suit dry goods and frozen foods. Storage containers work for liquid foods and leftovers. Vacuum packaging maximally extends shelf life but requires special equipment. When packaging, follow several principles. Completely cool foods before packaging to avoid steam generation. Seal packages tightly to prevent air entry. Package different food types separately to avoid flavor transfer. Label packages with contents and dates for easy management. Moisture and oxidation prevention is crucial. Place desiccants in packages to absorb excess moisture. Use well-sealed containers to reduce oxygen contact. Some oxidation-prone foods like nuts and oils can be refrigerator stored. Room temperature storage, while convenient, requires safety guidelines. Storage environments should be dry and cool, avoiding direct sunlight and high temperatures. America's climate varies significantly, so pay special attention to humidity control. Use sealed containers and desiccants as needed. Storage locations should be well ventilated, avoiding stuffiness. Kitchens are typically humid and warm, making them less ideal storage locations. Choose relatively dry, cool places like pantries or storage rooms. Regularly inspect stored foods, promptly clearing expired or spoiled items. Establish first in first out usage habits, placing new purchases behind older items to ensure timely use. Freezer storage is an excellent method for extending food shelf life, but requires techniques. Quick freezing works better than slow freezing because rapidly formed ice crystals are smaller, causing less damage to food tissue structure. Pre-freezing preparation is important. Meat can be portioned and packaged for convenient use. Vegetables can be blanched before freezing to maintain color and nutrition. Liquid foods like soups need expansion space to prevent container breakage. Thawing method selection is crucial. The safest method is slow thawing in the refrigerator, which takes longer but maintains food quality. Room temperature thawing is faster but requires careful timing. Microwave thawing is fastest but requires immediate cooking. Never use hot water for thawing as this promotes rapid bacterial growth. Freezing duration should be reasonably planned. While freezing greatly extends shelf life, it's not indefinite. Generally, meat keeps 3 to 6 months, seafood 2 to 3 months, vegetables 6 to 12 months, and cooked foods 2 to 3 months. Exceeding these timeframes may not be harmful, but quality noticeably declines. Food poisoning is the situation we most want to avoid, but if it occurs, we need to know how to respond. First, learn to identify food poisoning symptoms. Common symptoms include abdominal pain, diarrhea, vomiting, and fever. These typically appear within hours to days after consuming suspicious foods. Symptom severity and onset timing depend on pathogen type and amount consumed. Salmonella poisoning usually shows symptoms within 6 to 72 hours. Staphylococcus aureus poisoning symptoms appear relatively quickly, usually within 1 to 6 hours. Botulism poisoning is rare but most serious, potentially causing breathing difficulties. For relatively mild symptoms, some home first aid is possible. Most important is replenishing fluids and electrolytes, as diarrhea and vomiting cause dehydration. Drink sports drinks, coconut water, or make electrolyte solutions. Add 1 teaspoon salt and 4 teaspoons sugar to 1 liter water. Avoid using antidiarrheal medications because diarrhea is the body's natural response to eliminate toxins. Forcing it to stop may keep toxins in the body longer. Don't force eating either. Let the digestive system rest. If suspicious foods exist, preserve samples. This greatly helps medical diagnosis. Simultaneously record symptom progression, including when they started, what symptoms occurred, and severity levels. However, certain situations require immediate medical attention without delay, including fever exceeding 102 degrees Fahrenheit, severe dehydration such as significantly decreased urination, dry mouth, or loss of skin elasticity, severe abdominal pain, especially in the lower right abdomen, bloody stools, persistent vomiting preventing food or water intake, neurological symptoms like blurred vision, difficulty speaking, or muscle weakness. Seniors have relatively weaker immune systems, so symptoms may be more severe and recovery slower, making timely medical care even more important. If household members have chronic diseases like diabetes or heart conditions, extra caution is needed, as food poisoning may worsen existing conditions. Before seeking medical care, make some preparations. Prepare insurance cards and relevant documents. Bring suspicious food samples if available. Record symptom onset times and progression. If multiple people are poisoned simultaneously, seek care together as this greatly aids diagnosis. During medical treatment, cooperate with physicians and honestly describe symptoms and possible causes. Doctors may conduct tests like blood work or stool samples, so cooperate actively. During treatment, take medications on schedule, and pay attention to rest and dietary adjustment. After recovery, continue monitoring to ensure complete physical restoration. Some food poisoning may have lingering effects like irritable bowel syndrome or lactose intolerance, requiring extended recovery periods. In America, food safety is protected by relevant regulations. The Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act is the primary legislation regulating food business responsibilities and obligations. According to this law, food businesses must ensure the safety of products they sell, including ingredient selection, production process hygiene, and storage condition control. Consumers also have rights to information and choice. Businesses should provide complete food information including ingredients, expiration dates, and storage conditions. If food problems are discovered, consumers have rights to exchanges, refunds, and even compensation. If harmed by consuming unsafe foods, legal compensation can be sought. However, this requires preserving relevant evidence including purchase receipts, food samples, and medical records. Therefore, always request and keep receipts when purchasing foods. Consumer self-protection measures include choosing reputable businesses and avoiding vendors of unknown origin, carefully checking food labels including manufacturing dates, expiration dates, and ingredients. Inspecting packaging integrity for damage or deformation when purchasing. Properly storing according to instructions after purchase. Immediately stopping consumption and preserving evidence if problems are discovered. Government oversight is also important. The FDA oversees food safety, regularly testing market foods and publishing inspection results. Consumers can follow this information to avoid problematic products. Private organizations also play important roles. Consumer protection groups can help handle food safety disputes and provide legal consultation and mediation services. Media oversight cannot be ignored either, exposing food safety issues and alerting the public. As citizens, we can participate in food safety oversight. When discovering food safety problems, report to relevant authorities, pay attention to food safety issues and support related legislation and policies. Share correct food safety knowledge on social media to help others avoid risks. Seniors have additional special considerations. As we age, our immune systems gradually weaken, and resistance to bacteria and viruses decreases. This means the same food safety risks may have greater impacts on seniors. Digestive system function also declines with age. Stomach acid secretion decreases and intestinal motility slows, all affecting food digestion and absorption while reducing resistance to harmful bacteria. Therefore, seniors need to pay even more attention to food freshness and hygiene conditions. Many seniors need long-term medications, which also affect food safety. Some medications lower immunity, others affect gastrointestinal function, and some may interact with certain foods. When selecting and storing foods, consider these factors. Chronic disease patients need extra caution. Diabetic patients have weaker immunity and slower wound healing, making food poisoning impacts greater. Heart disease patients should avoid high-sodium foods, but many processed foods add large amounts of salt to extend shelf life. Kidney disease patients must limit protein intake while ensuring food safety. Regarding purchasing behavior, I recommend seniors adopt small quantity, frequent purchases principles. Don't buy too much food at once, especially easily spoiled fresh foods. This ensures food freshness while avoiding waste. Choosing trustworthy sales channels is important. Large supermarkets and chain stores typically have better cold chain management and quality control. Traditional markets may have lower prices but require selecting reputable vendors. When buying foods online, choose well-reviewed merchants and pay attention to delivery temperature control. Pay special attention to food freshness when purchasing. Don't buy nearly expired foods just because they're cheaper, especially high-risk items like dairy and meat. Better to spend a little more to ensure food safety. Avoid bargain hunting psychological traps. Some unscrupulous merchants may sell nearly expired or problematic foods at low prices. Remember, food safety is priceless. Health is more important than money. For home food management, regularly organize refrigerators and storage areas. Check at least weekly, clearing expired or spoiled foods. Use sticky notes to mark opening dates as reminders for timely use. Establishing food usage schedules is a good habit. Arrange foods by expiration dates, prioritizing those expiring soonest. For forgetful seniors, family members can help with reminders or use smartphone reminder functions. Family cooperation is important. Children can regularly check parents' food storage situations, help clear expired foods, and purchase fresh ingredients. They can also teach parents to use technological tools like smartphone apps for managing food expiration dates. Modern technology can help us better manage food safety. Some smart refrigerators can monitor temperatures and remind about expired food cleanup. Some smartphone apps can record food purchase and expiration dates. Some thermometers can check internal food temperatures to ensure adequate heating. Now let's summarize some practical food safety checklists. Pre-purchase inspection points include whether businesses have legitimate operating licenses and food business registrations, whether sales environments are clean and hygienic with workers practicing good personal hygiene, whether refrigeration and freezing equipment operates normally with appropriate temperatures, whether food appearance is normal with intact, undamaged packaging, whether labeling information is complete, including ingredients, manufacturing dates, and expiration dates. Storage process management includes regularly checking refrigerator temperatures to ensure refrigeration below 40 degrees Fahrenheit and freezing at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or below, monitoring food expiration dates and establishing first in first out usage order, maintaining storage container cleanliness with regular replacement, categorically storing different food types to avoid cross-contamination, regularly cleaning storage spaces to maintain dry, well-ventilated conditions. Pre-consumption final checks include carefully observing whether food appearance, color, and texture are normal, smelling for off odors or sour smells, checking packaging for damage or bulging, confirming adequate heating especially for meat and eggs, controlling consumption amounts without overeating, immediately stopping consumption if any abnormalities are discovered. Let's look at some successful cases and experience sharing. In America, many traditional markets have undergone reforms that greatly improved food safety standards. For example, New York's Union Square Green Market has introduced comprehensive cold chain systems after modernization, unified management of vendor refrigeration equipment, ensuring foods are stored at appropriate temperatures. Some chain restaurant companies also have excellent food safety management experience. They've established complete supply chain management systems with strict quality control at every stage from ingredient procurement to final sales. Employees also receive regular food safety training, ensuring operational compliance. At the household level, many good examples exist. Some families establish detailed food management systems including purchase planning, storage methods, and usage schedules. Some seniors form purchasing groups with neighbors for joint procurement, ensuring food freshness while reducing costs. Community-level efforts are also important. Some communities organize food safety lectures, inviting experts to share knowledge. Others establish neighborhood mutual assistance networks to jointly focus on food safety. Some even organize volunteers to help check food conditions for elderly living alone. International advanced experiences are also worth referencing. Japan's food storage culture is highly developed, emphasizing ingredient freshness and developing many precise storage techniques. European and American countries have comprehensive cold chain management systems, implementing full process temperature control from production to sales. Technological innovation has many applications in food storage. For example, controlled atmosphere packaging technology can adjust gas composition within packaging to extend food shelf life. Smart labels can monitor food freshness in real time. Nano packaging materials have better barrier properties for more effective food protection. Finally, let me address some frequently asked questions. Many people misunderstand expiration dates. Use-by dates indicate the last date food can guarantee safety and quality under proper storage conditions. Foods shouldn't be consumed after this date. Best-by dates indicate when food quality is optimal. Foods may still be consumable after this date but quality declines. Post-opening shelf life is dramatically shortened. Many foods can be stored long-term before opening, but should be consumed quickly after opening. For example, canned foods should be refrigerated after opening and consumed within days. Milk should be finished within 3 to 5 days after opening. Homemade food shelf life is relatively difficult to estimate due to lack of professional testing equipment. Generally, homemade food should be consumed as soon as possible without long storage. If storage is necessary, pay attention to hygiene conditions and storage methods. Handling special situations is also important. During power outages, avoid opening refrigerator doors as much as possible to maintain internal temperatures. If power is out for over 4 hours, refrigerated foods risk spoilage and should be carefully inspected before deciding whether to consume. When traveling, pay special attention to food safety. Avoid dining in places with poor hygiene conditions. Don't drink tap water or brush teeth with it. Avoid consuming raw or undercooked foods. Carry stomach medications for emergencies. During holiday gatherings, also be careful. Large gatherings easily develop food safety problems due to large food quantities and complex handling processes. Pay attention to food storage temperatures and times. Keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. Handle leftovers promptly without leaving at room temperature too long. To summarize today's content, food storage core principles are temperature control, hygiene maintenance, attention to dates, and proper packaging. For seniors, special attention should be paid to relatively weaker immune systems, requiring more careful food selection and storage. Prevention always beats treatment. Rather than waiting to treat food poisoning after it occurs, it's better to do prevention work well from the start. This requires us to establish correct food safety concepts, develop good habits, and continuously learn new knowledge. Starting today, everyone can take some concrete actions. Check home refrigerator temperature settings to ensure they're within correct ranges. Clear expired or spoiled foods. Learn proper food storage methods. Be more careful when purchasing foods. Establish good food management habits. Food safety is everyone's responsibility, not just the government's and businesses. We all must take responsibility for our own and our family's health. Being careful and cautious isn't excessive worry, but shows concern and responsibility for health. Finally, I want to emphasize that enjoying delicious food and protecting health don't conflict. As long as we master correct knowledge and methods, we can enjoy tasty foods while ensuring food safety. This kind of life is truly happy living. The Anhui tiramisu incident sounds the alarm for us, reminding us of food safety's importance. I hope everyone can learn from this incident, value food storage, and protect their own and their family's health. Thank you for watching today's program. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, and share this video with other friends and family members who need it. Each time you share, you might help someone who cares about food safety. Remember, there are no small matters in food safety. Prevention is always the best medicine. Let's work together for healthy living. See you next week.